Greetings, YouTube. My name is Luke, and in 2019 I made a video series about a somewhat uncommon surgery I got for educational purposes. It was about a operation on my foot, and it's been a few years since I talked about that because there hasn't been anything to talk about. Luckily, my foot's been just fine. However, my wrist hasn't, and therefore I have decided that it's time for round two. Okay. I'm making this on the fly on the eve of my surgery to my wrist. Completely on the fly, as is tradition. Everything I do is pretty much kind of made up as it goes along for whatever reason. But so for those of you who are just joining, my name's Luke. I'm from New England, and I have a problem with my wrist, and this problem is basically, well, the fancy word for it is a TFCC tear, which is a tear in the cartilage in my wrist. I'm going to take this off. I have to wear this brace to help prevent my wrist from hurting during day-to-day activities, and it still hurts, but it reduces how bad it gets. But basically, inside my wrist there is this triangle of cartilage that is torn in half, basically, according to MRIs. And this happened over the course of several years, during which I worked at a newspaper in Massachusetts. I've spent my whole career in the newspaper industry in a couple of different states, but this particular paper was in Mass. And one of my jobs at this paper, I mentioned it during the sesamoidectomy video, but I was working in post-press distribution, and a big part of that job was, I brought some papers here because even the doctors I talked to didn't really understand what I was trying to describe unless I showed it to them. But basically sometimes my job was to take a big stack of papers, hold them taut like this so that the spines are all flush, and load them into a machine that would then process them. And what would happen would be the machine would be going so quickly that I'd need to grab huge stacks, and I'd have to do it with one hand to keep up with the pace of the machines, which is really inhumane if you think about it. But that's how the job went sometimes. Understaffed. And so over time that damaged the cartilage of my wrist, that repetitive motion. It's a repetitive motion injury. And so, you know, I'm sure some people would say, well, Luke, just go sue. You know, it's a workplace accident. Well, it's not quite that simple, unfortunately. There wasn't any one specific incident in which I got injured. It wasn't a repetitive motion injury that occurred over the course of 3-4 years. So, and it also did not prevent me from working. You know, whenever I had a wrist flare-ups, I'd just go see a doctor, and they'd write me a note to be put on light duty at this job for, you know, X number of weeks. I'd work with a physical therapist for a few months. They'd have me on light duty, and so I never lost time due to this at that job, so I never lost any wages. There'd be very little to sue for. So luckily I happen to live in the Socialist Republic of Massachusetts, where we benefit from a public health care option, and so I qualify after many years of spinning my wheels and proving to doctors and insurance companies that my wrist won't heal. I finally qualified for a surgery to repair the TFCC tear in my wrist. And so I suppose that's just, in a nutshell, what I'm about to go do and what I'm recording a video about. I wasn't going to record a video, but I was talking to somebody, and they said, no, you gotta do something about that. There was a lot of warm response in the last series, and I guess I'm a broken person. I need a lot of surgeries. Chronicling him here on YouTube how That's a normal pastime, isn't it? Right. So yeah, I'm about my surgery. It's 12:36 in the morning. I need to drive somewhere about 2 hours away to go get it done, and they want me there for 6 in the morning. So I'm going to get up at about 3 in about 2.5 hours or so, or something like that, if I can even fall asleep. I got a lot of nerves going on right now. I'm nervous. No matter how many surgeries you get, it's always nerve-wracking going under the knife. But that's what's going on. You know, I'm really looking forward to, hopefully, I've had pain in my wrist for 5 years at this point. I mean, it really started getting bad maybe in 2018 or so, or something like that. Late 17, early 18 was when I started noticing it was a problem, and it continuously got worse through 2019, even after I had left that job, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And I spun my wheels with a lot of physical therapists who thought that I would heal, and I haven't healed basically in years. So it's come down to it. It's I'm finally going to get it fixed. It's very exciting. It's kind of scary, and on the fly here I am recording a video about it. I probably repeated a bunch of stuff over and over because completely unscripted and on the fly. So let's see how things go. Hopefully I correctly hit record, and if things go okay, hopefully you'll see me around this time tomorrow. Okay, let's take this adventure, TFCC repair.